Imagine you are Julia, the marketing manager at Happy Mobile. You've just logged into Blackwood 7's Media AI platform. Immediately, you get an overview of your current and past media performance. You get a timeline view of daily generated effect from your media investments. You can see what the effect per day is from this curve up here, and below that, you can see what you invested on that day in media to generate that effect. You also get a perspective on the campaigns you've been running. You have a Christmas campaign here and a spring campaign over here. And importantly, you get an indication of how they are performing. This spring campaign had a mediocre performance, while the Christmas campaign had a good performance. Below, we can see why it has performed well. You've spent 5.1 million in media investment out of a total budget of 5.1 million. But in terms of subscribers, you have actually exceeded campaign expectations by generating 8,560 subscribers against a target of 7,807. Now, below the timeline, you have a set of KPIs that help you understand how well you're actually performing from your media investments. You have a summary of the total investments for the period selected, the media-generated sales, a media-generated profit, an average cost per action, which is this budget divided by number of sales, a media ROI, and then you have your total sales of the whole company during this period. As you can see, the total sales, 262,000, is of course considerably larger than the media-generated subscribers, which contributes to 49% of the total sales. In the timeline, you can also dive deep into the specific channels to see the media investments and the generated effect from that channel. So here we are in TV. And below in the media investment graph, you can see the TV investment and the correlating TV generated effect up here, as well as the total summary for TV over the course of the year. And now the KPIs have changed. This reflects the TV filter you have set for the timeline. Going back to all media, we can even go further down into each of the KPIs. If you click any of these cards, you get a summary of a channel level over the course of the year we selected. You can also select multiple cards simultaneously to compare and contrast. So for example here, you were quite heavy on TV and print, then to a lesser extent on radio, outdoor and so forth. You can see that TV generated 27,600 subscribers out of the total of 128,000, and then also see the average cost per action. If we deselect the cost per action, we can in fact show a comparison between the two KPIs we have selected. Here we can see that TV had a 66% share of the total media budget, but a 22% share of the generated sales. This doesn't mean that TV was an inefficient medium to use, because TV might have helped generate a lot of the synergy effect. Meaning that people viewing TV ads would be more likely to convert from one of the other media channels used. And as you can see, beside the direct effect from each channel, we have a total of 21,100 new subscribers from the synergy effect. That is not attributed to any specific channel, but instead a synergy of combining the channels together. We could have selected any other KPIs, like cost per action for instance, and we can compare those to see that TV had a 66% share of the investment, but has a cost per action indexed 307, which means it was 3 times bigger than the average CPA for the campaign selected. We can choose to go into the total sales and also drill down into that metric to see how various drivers attributed positively or negatively to your total sales. For example, find out what competitors' pricing meant for sales, what you would have sold, all other things being equal, and the impact that those drivers have on your KPI. Interestingly here, weather had a negative impact on your sales. That is a way of positioning your paid media sales contribution against your overall sales. So as you're monitoring your media performance, you're actually able to go even deeper with your insight. If you press these channels, you can also go all the way down to the publisher level to see how they performed for the campaign. Here, you can see these were the publishers used for this campaign, and you have the media investment you spent versus the amount recommended by Hamilton AI. For this campaign, you haven't completely gone with Hamilton AI's recommendations, which is reflected in the generated subscribers across the TV publisher mix. This granularity is what really makes the insights from Blackwood 7 AI media platform actionable. You've just been in a weekly marketing meeting, and your boss briefed you on a new pre-summer campaign. Your goal is to generate as many sales as possible for the set budget he has given you. As Julia, you can actually predict how to generate as many new subscriptions as possible and become truly accountable for the result of your campaign. This is done using the Hamilton AI predictions feature of the Blackwood 7 AI platform. You go to the Add Activity in order to generate a new prediction. So you fill out the activity name for the campaign and the activity period, April and May in this case. There are two ways of optimizing your campaign. You can either base it on the specific budget that is now available to you, or you can input the sales target that you need to reach. But for now, you have €5 million in your budget, which you will input here. However, there are some other variables around your budget that you know will impact how you spend the money. At Happy Mobile, we have a media commitment with ProSieben, a TV publisher, meaning that we have to spend €500,000 with them each month. So, as this campaign is 2 months long, we have to add this constraint to inform Hamilton AI so that he can take it into consideration when performing his prediction. Any constraint can either be fixed, minimum, or maximum. So if we have to spend at least €1 million with ProSieben for the whole 2-month campaign period, then we can select these along with choosing Publisher as the granularity level, and of course, ProSieben from this drop-down. We also know that we will not be developing any materials for print or outdoor for this campaign. So we also want to inform Hamilton AI that it shouldn't consider us spending anything on print. We can do this by fixing the print budget at 0. The same goes for outdoor. With a fixed budget for 0, Media Group as our granularity and outdoor as our constraint. So now when doing the prediction, Hamilton AI will take into account specific things about our budget that make sure that it doesn't recommend something that we can't put into action. Once we have these constraints, we can hit predict for the new campaign. Now, Hamilton AI just takes a few minutes to calculate its predictions. The pre-summer campaign prediction is ready. We are now going to see the results of that. So what happens here is that you are actually presented with between 1 and 3 different scenarios of investment plans that you can evaluate and choose from. You can see up here what the campaign inputs were: your campaign period, your media investments, and you can see the constraints that you set for the Hamilton AI. Now, the first investment scenario is the direct response to the brief you just gave Hamilton AI. You can see that you can generate at least 25,000 subscribers with 90% probability, and potentially go all the way up to 28,200 with 10% probability. So, you will always be presented with sales probability range that allows you to make informed decisions on how many sales you'll be able to generate over the course of the campaign period. Those ranges are depicted in these graphs for each of the predicted investment scenarios. In the middle here, you see how your plan would look without any media constraints. And here you can see that had you not eliminated print from your input, it would actually suggest that you use a lot of print in order to generate 29,700 subscribers during the course of the campaign versus 25,000 you can now generate with your media constraints. And then you're also presented with a suggested alternative. Hamilton AI will search out different budget levels around the budget input that you briefed him on in order to figure out if there is another scenario that will result in a lower cost per action. You can see that Hamilton AI predicts that you could spend a whole €1 million less than your initial budget in order to get a cost per action of only €177 versus €200 CPA with your plan. Now, even more importantly, is that you can of course see the media mix suggested or recommended by Hamilton AI in order to generate this effect. And finally, you can see your KPIs. You have your recommended media investment, the predicted sales, the media generated profit, the average cost per action, and your media ROI. From the 3 plans that we have saved, we can go to Activities, and we have a full list of activities that we have run or are running. And as you can see, you have the Christmas campaign and the Spring campaign, and now we also have the Pre-Summer campaign. Now we have a summary of these 3 plans that we can sort by any of the KPIs. So, we actually want to pick the plan that had our media constraints and that had the €5 million budget. So out here, we can either modify once again if we want to do a new prediction, we can activate it, or we can delete it. So, let's say that we are happy with reporting back to our boss that with 5 million, we can actually generate 25,000 subscribers while still adhering to the media commitment we have with ProSieben, and we don't need to generate any new materials for print and outdoor. So we clicked the Activate button and added it to our timeline, and at the same time, it will auto-download what we call a media investment plan. We confirm this, and we are now directed back to the timeline overview where this new pre-summer activity is being added to our timeline. And of course, there is no data here yet, because it's in the future, but we can see we have a budget of 5 million and a target of 25,000 new subscribers. Now, in order to actually take action and purchase the media, we use our detailed media investment plan. This is an Excel sheet that we use to get a very detailed view on how to invest our money. And here we can actually see, at publisher level, which amount of money to spend on which dates. So this is a very thorough and detailed media investment plan that we can either put into action ourselves, or we can call our media agency and ask them to help us to purchase these media insertions. This will eventually allow us to harvest the full potential of the predicted campaign. Blackwood 7, the media AI platform, making media accountable.